Hi, I'm Tommy, and today we're going to be talking about this simple but layered serum patch. So, recently I've been thinking a lot about the idea that you should only really heavily layer the one sound that you want people to really focus in on in an arrangement. And that you should kind of leave space around it and keep everything else a little bit more simple. And so, what I decided to do was to see how well I could layer in one instance of Serum. And that's how I came out to this. And what this is a kind of bassier triangle. Not really bassy, it's still up an octave, but you'll see what I mean. Not a lot of high-end content. And then I use the sub oscillator to go a little bit higher. And you notice that it's starting to get a lot of distortion here, and we'll talk about that in the effects section soon. But there's also this. And what this is just a really basic square-ish wave, and it is just synced to the max. Like, that's not getting modulated, that's not getting changed, and if we hear it without the sync... Here, actually, I'm going to isolate that oscillator real quick. And then... So, it's pretty much just shifting it up many octaves, but at the same time, what it's also doing is adding this really signature type of digital distortion that comes from syncing a waveform really intensely. I also want to mention that we have two oscillators here. The first one here does a delay modulation, and the second one moves the octave of this main oscillator, for oscillator A, up one. And you can hear that delay modulation right here. Notice that as this automation envelope goes up, there's more delay, and as it goes down, there's less. And the reason that I did this is because having the ability to control how much space something takes up is really helpful in arrangements. It means that you don't really have to worry about, oh, well, there's this little quiet section here. What other samples, what drum sounds, what else can I put in it? If you can just take the main sound that people should be focusing on and delay it, or maybe modulate up a reverb so that it can fill that space well. And then the second automation envelope is just for an octave control. So listen to the before and after. It was a little bit chaotic, but yeah, you can hear that what it's doing is shifting up the octave of oscillator A by 1. Not a huge jump, but it helps. So now to go through the effects section real quick. What's happening here is that there's the very typical hyperdimension, and then I turned it off because it sounds too stereotypical. There's some diode distortion turned all the way up because Serum's diode distortion, especially diode 1, gets a shockingly accurate emulation of tube amp distortion. Especially as sounds begin to layer, and it's something that is worthwhile enough that I use Serum effects to put it on sounds that I make with other synthesizers. There's a multiband compressor where I've shifted the highs and the lows up a little bit from where the mids are, and I haven't really affected any of these parameters at all. There's the delay, which is just the normal default delay, but being modulated by macro 1. And then there's a reverb, which is being automated by this envelope that we should talk about. Also, it's a hall reverb instead of a plate, just for the sake of... Plates give a lot of character, and I don't want the reverb to give this sound character. I want the other elements of this patch to give it, its character and its color. And this envelope right here controls the reverb automation. It also controls levels on all three oscillators that are running, and the noise, which, I don't know, I've been kind of playing with it, but I don't really like it. I don't know. it kind of just gets in the way, in my opinion. This is a very, like, pure, focused, sweet saccharine sound, and I think that it should stay that way. And then this envelope is also moving the filter cutoff, and I don't really want to show you how to build this patch from the ground up. I just want to talk about it and then give it to you so that you can learn your own way. And I want to point out how valuable it can be to play with the roll-off of filters. Not the cutoff knob, but like the decibels per octave that they roll off. So if we have this at 24, and then let's put it back down to 6. Notice how it's almost like the ADSR envelope of this patch changed, but all I did was affect the filter. And the reason for that is that if you look at how steep the roll-off is here, so what these numbers are after filter names is the amount of decibels that are rolled off per octave. And so 6 is obviously about 25% as effective as 24. And what that can end up doing is shaping how long the tail of a sound will hold on. So you can use that, just like modulating the delay right here, as pretty much just another way to affect how much space this sound will take up. I hope that you can learn something from this patch, and I hope that you can study this to better be able to use layering to make your arrangements full in just the right places. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and there will be a download link in the description. As always, have a good day, and I hope you've learned something.